You like cock? Hold on to your hats because the Edmonton Oilers are looking to drop an absolute bombshell on the NHL. Although it's not official, all signs are pointing towards Mike Babcock being the new head coach in Edmonton. Look, we knew management was desperate to get this core over the hump after firing Kris Knoblauch, but nobody saw this gamble coming. Especially after Darren Dreger tweeting this, what was it, like a month ago? Apparently Babcock was retired and more than happy to be retired. What happened? Connor McDavid and the leadership group have reportedly given the green light. The NHLPA hurdles are being cleared and the Babs era is looking to be officially underway in oil country. Is this the ultimate win now masterstroke to bring the Stanley Cup back to Edmonton, or is this a locker room disaster waiting to happen? I'm breaking it all down right now on Above Average. Smash that subscribe button and let's get into it, baby. What is going on? What is going on? I mean, what the hell? I'm gone for 3 days. Not even. Actually, just even. 3 days. 3 days to be exact. And I come back on my drive home, and all of a sudden I'm listening to the radio, listening to Edmonton Sports Talk, EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. One of the best shows to listen to, honestly. I'll put a link in the description. And then all of a sudden the rumors. Oh, crap. It looks like the rumors are heating up. Mike Babcock coming to Edmonton. I'm like, no way. Go on Twitter. Darren Dreger's talking about it. Ryan Rishaug's talking about it. This guy's talking about it. And oh my God, here we are. Mike Babcock is looking to be, it's almost, I wouldn't say it's almost official at this point, but I will say this is a good tweet. And it comes from Brendan Escott. Assuming there's no complications carrying forward with the NHL, Mike Babcock will be the next coach of the Edmonton Oilers. It's inevitable. That was Bob Stauffer today, like a few hours ago. So yeah, I think it's almost, you could say it's almost official. I don't think Bob would go on his radio show and say that if, he didn't have some certainty. Obviously, he's best buddies with Daryl Cates. So clearly it looks like Mike Babcock will be the next coach of the Edmonton Oilers. And I ask you, question of the video, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I'm very, very intrigued. You guys know I read and interact with every single comment in the comment section down below. It's a sponsored segment on every video right here on Above Average, brought to you by www.timetrackers.ca. But I'm kind of lost for words. I'm kind of like surprised because what happened with what Darren Dreger said. I should have pulled that tweet up. One sec. So yeah, it wasn't even a month ago Darren Dreger tweeted this. I asked Babcock this morning about the idea of coaching again and the speculation around the Oilers. He said, "Dregs, I'm retired, loving it." So this is either Babcock was lying here and he has full intent on coming back, and that's the only thing that really makes sense to me, is that he was probably he wanted it on the DL, the very, very, very down low. Because all of a sudden, I don't think he would just change his mind. I feel like his mind was already made. He was probably thinking about it, but he didn't want to commit to anything then. So that's why he said, I don't really, I'm retired. I'm loving it. But, and if that wasn't the case, what changed? I don't know. So that's interesting. But yeah, Babcock, what are your guys' thoughts? Coming back to the NHL, obviously he had a short stint with Columbus. It didn't really even coach a single game there. We all know what happened, why he was let go. He does some weird things, ethical things that are kind of, I wouldn't say, it's just different. Not a lot of coaches do stuff that he's done. And then, in Toronto, it came out, Mitch Marner, how he had to rate, what was it, everyone's work ethic in the room from highest to lowest. As a rookie, he did that. So that's kind of weird. And really, those are the only two things. So he's done two things that, they've made headlines and people have been scratching their heads like, what's this guy thinking? But aside from that, like for me growing up, Mike Babcock was the best coach in the NHL. That's all I remember hearing from being a kid. Mike Babcock, he's the best coach. Mike Babcock wins the cup with the Red Wings. Just unreal. 2010 gold at the Olympics. 2014, he was the head coach there as well. He also won the Olympics. So yes, those were really, really good teams, but they didn't do it this year with a really, really good team and a really, really good coach. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I've said it before. Trev, I know a lot of you are like, Trev, what are your thoughts? We want to know your thoughts. Maybe one of you is probably thinking that. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You could have Mike Babcock. You could have Bowman, Scotty Bowman. You could have freaking John Cooper, Joe Quenneville. You could have freaking Paul Maurice. All the greatest coaches ever. Those are more so just recent coaches, but they could be all, brainstorming this Oilers team, like, or this Oilers roster. Oh, this is what we need to do. Yep. All we're the best minds. We're the smartest people in the room. It doesn't matter who the Oilers bring in as a coach. Like, that's maybe 15% of the issue. This roster is not good enough to win a cup. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's not that great of a roster. Like, you can't tell me that Mike Babcock's going to come in and make this team a cup contender with the roster that they have right now. They have serious issues still in goaltending. Their defense is subpar, and they've got like two solid wingers on this team. If you want to count Nuge as a winger or center, but that's it. Like, I don't know. Say what you want about Mike Babcock. Sure, bring him in. I honestly am not too mad as everyone else is. Like, I think it's fine. I still think he's a really good coach, despite him being a hard ass and doing all those unethical things. I still think he is a good coach. I just don't think this roster is good enough to win the cup. So regardless, it doesn't matter. Have him, don't have him. This team's not winning a cup. So that's my 2 cents there. But guys, I'm very curious. What do you have to say? Drop a comment down below. I read and interact with every single one. Mike Babcock. I will say, if you made it this far, the penis jokes, the penis trend continues. The wiener jokes, they continue. What are you talking about, Trev? Well, you got Ken Hitchcock back in 2018. He leaves, and then it goes to Dave Tippett. Another funny wiener reference there. And then it goes to Jay Woodcroft. And so you'll see at the intro of the video there, it's kind of funny that I did that. And then it went to Kris Knoblauch. And then Bruce Cassidy, if he was coming in, it would end. It would end at 4. But no, you got another cock. And it's freaking Mike Babcock coming in. And it's also funny, in the runnings was Peter Laviolette. That's another one. Peter, that would have been pretty funny too. But like, what are the chances of that? Anyway, I might edit this out. I might keep that in. But I think it's funny. A lot of people are tweeting about that. But yeah, and also interesting, like I've heard from behind the scenes that the leadership group of the Edmonton Oilers was asked about bringing Mike Babcock in. I forget. I think it was after Tippett they were asked, and apparently then they said, hell no, like we don't want that. We're not a fan of that. And now Connor and Leon are signing off on this. That's interesting as well. So yeah, but I mean, no Oilers fans, they'll never be pleased. Like, you want a hard-ass coach, you get a hard-ass coach, and now they're just, and before is, no, the Oilers need a players coach, a very soft-spoken, for the players kind of coach, and that didn't go. You're not too hard on them, Kris and Jay Woodcroft, you guys need to be a lot more hard on these players, and they weren't, and now you got probably the hardest coach on players. He's right up there with the Sutters of the world and the Tortorellas of the world. And now Oilers fans are just freaking out. No, I don't like it. I don't like, come on. So fascinating stuff. Mike Babcock, the next head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Like, that's kind of crazy. But I will say, for one, I'm not nearly as butthurt about it as other people are. I still think he's a great coach. I really do. And I think his track record, for the most part, shows that. And I know a lot of people saying, he hasn't won a playoff game in how many years? And yeah, that's fair, but how many good teams has he been on? I wouldn't classify the Maple Leafs team that he was coaching was good. Yeah, they should have been able to win one game, but I mean, that's tough titty. There's good teams that just don't win. You like look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got swept by the frickin' Columbus Blue Jackets a few years ago. That was a really, really good team. And that was John Cooper. So what? John Cooper's not a really good coach? No. Sometimes hockey's weird. And it just, weird things happen. And I think that's a weird thing. I don't freaking know. But what I do know is Mike Babcock is going to be the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. That's fascinating stuff. Yeah, so if this is true, I will just say, like, get ready. Like, Mike Babcock, I remember he ripped Todd McLellan a new one. He said, oh, you can't play your superstars 28, 27 minutes a night because Todd McLellan did that for Connor and Leon. I feel like every single coach has ever, that has had the opportunity to coach these guys has done that. So will he change his ways or will he... No, Connor, you're playing 18 tonight. No, like it's going to be, I like to think that it's going to be very different from anything we've seen like ever in the McDavid and Draisaitl era. I really think he's going to be pretty stern. I think he's going to rely on the vets a lot. I think ice time is going to be down for everyone, including Connor and Leon. And it's going to be interesting stuff. So that's all I got. And I will say, if you made it this far as well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do other NHL related content, not just Oilers. But I leave, all of a sudden, there's an article written about Darnell Nurse, being shipped out of town. So I obviously have to talk about that. And then I come back and the Oilers are signing. It looks like a new head coach is going to be Mike Babcock. Obviously, I have to talk about that as well. So next video will not be an Oilers video. But guys, what are your thoughts? I'm very, very curious. Drop a comment down below. I read and interact with every single one. Time now for the sponsored segment, every video right here on Above Average, brought to you by www.timetrackers.ca, where they work around the clock for you. It's an Alberta-based company with clocks all over Canada. You want a nice clock like that? Go check them out. www.timetrackers.ca. Okay, the most liked comment in my previous video was, huge shout out to Squishy for breakfast. The $9.25 million contract he signed was what went wrong. He could be seen as an asset if he made $2 million less. Skates well, big body, gets in the mix for his teammates, can provide offense sometimes, but his gaffes are big. 7.25 would have been more tolerable. Even better if it was cheaper. He attracted a lot more attention to himself with that contract. Might have affected his play. Spot on. Very, very well said. Completely agree with you there, man. Thanks for all the continued support, guys. Very fascinating stuff. Next video will be an NHL, another video, not Oilers related. And yeah, this is crazy. Crazy times right here in oil country. And Toronto was awesome. Just got back. Huge shout out to my grandma, my uncle Chris, my uncle Dave, and my Aunt Barb and Aunt Marie. It was a family trip. Just an unbelievable time. Had so much fun. First time in Toronto. So sick. I still can't get over downtown. I'm a small town boy. Pincher Creek, Alberta, man. That was crazy. Like, everyone's talking about the pyramids being made by aliens. Dude, the CN Tower was for sure made by an alien, or several. I imagine a lot of aliens, because I couldn't stop looking at it, man. There's no way humans made that. I don't get it. So, anyway, that's it. That's a wrap. I'll see you in the next one. Don't be average when you can be above average. Peace.